Extreme Masters Cologne live from our studios. I'm IEM Sjokz supporter, and I'm joined here at the desk by two incredible guests, Marcel Dexter Veldkamp and Brandon SaintVicious DeMarco. We saw Dexter yesterday, of course, but Saint, welcome to the desk. Good to have you.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Give you a little bit of NA over here.
The jet lag okay? It's excited?
It's all good. I had a day off. I mean, I wasn't here yesterday. I got to explore the city a little bit, and it's pretty nice. They have a Christmas market going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. They're like drinking this hot wine and stuff, and everyone's just getting trashed. It's pretty entertaining.
It must have been interesting. Well, we're here for the Intel Extreme Masters, of course. So let's start off by taking a look at the schedule and what we have got planned out for you today. It is the day of the quarterfinals, 2 best-of-3s. The first one, Roccat taking on the Dolphins of Wall Street, followed by Aces High versus Team Dignitas. And then tomorrow we'll see CLG and Gambit take the podium here to play their first games in the semifinal. And the grand final is a best-of-5, and that will be played on Sunday. Let's also take a look at the bracket to look a little more in depth at the action that we have got coming your way. As said today, 2 quarterfinals, and they're all best-of-3s. And tomorrow the bye teams will take the stage with a grand final on Sunday. Well, a lot of action here in Cologne, and the first match we've got coming up is Team Roccat versus the Dolphins of Wall Street. I suggest we start off by taking a look at the roster for the Dolphins of Wall Street, with the note that they have brought a couple of subs into a couple of problems. They have Mazilia in the top lane, Lasagna in the jungle, Baby in the mid lane, Creaton and Masterwork in that bottom lane. And of course, immediately it is Creaton's name that pops out. A pretty good sub, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, apparently their sub had problems coming into the country or something, and they just very desperately need a AD carry. And yeah, Cretan, I mean, he didn't play the game for like 1 month, but said, all right, I'm gladly to sub in, and then they just flew him in, and then now he's playing the tournament. And Cretan is a player that he doesn't have to play the game to be on his level, because he's always been the player that can get away with like 1 or 2 games a day and still be at the level he plays. So I'm actually looking forward to see how he performs after not playing for a month. But yeah, we will see how he does.
You actually think he's going to have like equal level mechanics just for 1 game? I don't know.
Not that, but he won't be like super bad or something, you know?
Yeah, I think
he's going to be fine, yeah.
Yeah, he was also saying how he got up super early, then flew in. It must have been quite hectic for him, but fantastic to see him playing on the stage once again. If we look at the other people in the lineup, Lasagna actually won the 4 Nations tournament just last weekend with Choke Gaming. A very talented jungler coming in there. How big of a challenge is it for these players that haven't played together all that often, I think, at all in this specific lineup to come here and play versus an LCS team?
I think it really depends on how the lanes get set up. If they just play a standard game where, you know, top lane versus top lane, you know, duo versus duo, and they set up like that, then it'll be fine, because that's what you do in solo queue. You go in there and you just play your lanes. But if it gets more into like the team play aspect, where you do 2v1s, you do lane swaps, I think they could be in a lot of trouble.
Do you think that someone like Creaton, who has played in the LCS and knows that, is that enough that one person says, guys, we need to lane swap, we need to do this, or is this just too difficult with the lanes pushing to figure that out?
I actually highly suggest just play the standard game. Just try to pick comfort picks, strong picks, and then just play your game, you know? You can only hope to actually get a big enough lead in the early game by just playing standard. And yeah, I think it's really hard for them to actually like get like short notice and playing subs. And yeah, I think they just go for the standard game and try to make the best out of the situation.
Hey, I beg to differ. What if they just pull out the super crazy picks?
I mean, the picks aren't going to. Well, the picks aren't going to be the problem. It's going to be, yeah. Of course, they need to snowball their lanes. They need to get ahead. But you're not going to be able to get ahead if they're 2v1ing. They're shutting down your top laner. Because, like, let's say you have like a snowbally top lane pick, like a Rally or a Kali or something you'd pick in solo queue. If you 2v1 that and you're just the whole team's just focused on shutting that down the whole game, you're not going to get that crazy pick getting ahead. You're not going to snowball at all.
All right. Let's actually take a look at their opponent's team. Roccat, let's get the players up on your screen. In the top lane, it'll be Overpow, Jankos in the jungle, Ryu in the mid lane, Woolite and Vander in the bottom lane. After LCS, they have made a couple of changes to their lineup. Overpow moved from the mid lane to the top lane. We have Woolite coming in there for Saliver, and then Ryu. They're playing with Ryu here. It's temporary, as the team has said, so we will see how that evolves. But generally, how do you think this team has evolved, Dexter?
From my like talking to players and everything, I think they're probably like the strongest team in Europe right now, according to like all the guys I've talked to. Apparently, their jungler stepped up a lot. Like Jenkins was already super good last bit, but he got a bit better, and then they finally got into the position where they have like stronger lanes. That was their biggest problem last bit, that their bot lane wasn't super good or inconsistent at times. But Vander, top support, and now he has a really good AD carry to back it up. He's formerly playing for the Copenhagen Wolves. And we all know that Copenhagen Wolves always has like amazing AD carries coming out. I mean, Forgiven right now in SK Gaming, and yeah,
Reckless before that.
So I think Rocket is gonna be a high, like super good contender for the top spot in Europe LCS next split. And apparently, even scrimming with Rio and having that language barrier and everything doesn't really weaken them. And I have heard really good things about them coming into this tournament, and they seem to be very confident about themselves too.
We've also seen, actually, we've been observing them a little bit, and they are really making Rio feel at home here and having the best experience to make a good performance here. Sjokz is, of course, a very good jungler. Saint, he always gets those first bloods, and he's just all around very good for the team. And I think that translates very easily in if you have a good mid, he can make the things happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of the map extends off it's like the 2v2 setup where you just have the mid lane and the jungle. It's a lot of synergy with that. But I think Ryu didn't really have a very good performance in, was it the expansion tournament?
Yep.
Yeah, he didn't really have a good performance in that. So I'm like kind of curious if he's going to be able to bounce back off of that. But I think their other lanes are strong enough to where they'll be okay. Actually, we ended up playing against Woolite when he came over with, I think, the Copenhagen Wolves for the last promo tournament. And they were a really strong bot lane to deal with. So I think their bot lane is going to be a big threat. And apparently Overpower is... he said he's like the Freddy 112 for them, right?
Yeah, I've heard very good things about him. He actually